For more, I'm now joined by Republican Congressman Roger Williams of Texas. Congressman, good to see you again, sir. The president now floating this idea of sending the troops into New Orleans instead of Chicago. And I found it interesting yesterday in the Oval Office in reference to Governor Pritzker. He said, if he'd called me up, I'd love to help. Do you feel like Trump is starting to soften his stance on this crackdown at all?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I actually think he's picking it up. He realizes that these big cities, most of them are out of control. And from a business standpoint, somebody chairs a small business committee, it's hurting small businesses. And we need to get people in there that will act by the law. And if it means sending the National Guard in to get things straightened out, I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah. At New Orleans, as Tom was just pointing out, has a Democratic mayor, but Louisiana is obviously Republican-run. Governor Landry is very welcoming of this idea. Do you see this potential pivot as a political strategy to maybe get a little goodwill, more good press on the president's side?
Well, I don't think he's looking at political goodwill. I think he's looking at reality, is that these cities, like we said, are out of control. And you look at what's happening from theft to murders and so forth. It's just something's got to stop. And a lot of law enforcement, their hands are tied because these liberal leaders have cut their funding and want to defund the police. So it created a horrible storm for the law-abiding citizens. And I think the president is doing the right thing, and the National Guard's doing fantastic.
And as he has promised to send the National Guard to Chicago at some point to crack down on crime, the city's mayor, Brandon Johnson, is pointing the finger at red states. Let me just pop this up for you, what he shared on X. He said Chicago will continue to have a violence problem as long as red states continue to have a gun problem, claiming that illegal guns flowing into Chicago are to blame. Your response to the mayor for pointing the finger at Republicans on this one, sir?
Well, everything's political with these people on the left side, and he makes no sense with that. The problem is the culture that he's allowed to create in Chicago and even the state of Illinois. That's the problem. It's not guns coming into Illinois from Texas. That's pure politics. And you talk to the people, and I've seen some on your show, that are begging for law enforcement, begging for the National Guard to help get their life in order. And so when he says something like that, he's taking up airspace.
Yeah. And a lot of people also saying, Republicans are playing politics in this, too. What do you tell people who think that this has become more about political targeting with these blue cities than it actually is about mitigating violence and crime?
Well, a lot of the problems we have are in blue states under left leadership. So, I mean, you go where the problems are, and that's what President Trump has done. But at the same time, I just want to say that businesses are being devastated by this. They're having to pay more insurance. They're having to hire security. Customers are not getting taken care of. They have less inventory. It's a real drain on the economy. And again, we need to get a hold of our cities, get a hold of our economy, and make America be safe again for people who want to live in the cities.
Lastly, just before I let you go, the president is obviously pushing a comprehensive crime bill. Congress is now back in session after summer recess. What's the latest on the status of that potential legislation, and if you predict that gets passed?
Well, we'll have to see. We've got debate to go and so forth, but I think it will get passed. It should get passed, and I'll be excited to support it.
Congressman Roger Williams, thanks as always, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you.